This is the book of Sirach, chapter 4, verse 28. Strive for the truth unto death, and the Lord shall fight for thee. So giving all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rachakodash, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the 144,000, as well as the rest of the elect. All right, this is Brother Taza Pa, here with another lesson. And for this lesson, I want to make a correction on the live stream that we did yesterday out at camp. All right, and I have it pulled up here. We'll play it.
And that in itself now helps the body grow and flourish.
Yeah. Man, I wanted to speak to this real quick before we get up out of here. Cause I had no idea, and that shit fucked me up, man. They put that dude in front of a firing squad that killed the police. They killed his son.
Hinton dude.
Yeah. They put him in front of a firing squad and missed his heart, and he ended up dying a long, painful death. Yeah, they shot him.
And so I want to make the correction on that. Rodney Hinton Jr., all right, he's still alive. All right. And so, yeah, he's still with us. So I want to do this video to issue an apology as well as set the facts straight. Now, with the facts that surrounding Rodney Hinton Jr., he still hadn't had his day at court, all right? So it's still at trial. But when you look at the police statements, they're lying. They're clearly lying, all right? So I'm not even going to get into that till the case come out, because it's a lot of shady evidence, and the sheriff or whoever, the woman that came out to give the statement to the press, she was clearly lying. And you know how they do the video. It's always something with the video. So right before the cop shot Rodney Hinton Jr.'s son, the video is blurry. They say you really can't see it, and they don't show the video. They just show you stills. They show you pictures, but they don't show the video past a certain point. And so that screams foul play. All right. And they're clearly twisting the facts, perverting the narrative so that they can look like they was justified, but it's really looking like it was another unjustified murder. All right. And so this is the actual. Okay, let me go here. Now, this is the actual guy here who they put in front of the firing squad. So this is from NPR, and this is dated May 8th, 2025. It says, a firing squad tried to shoot a prisoner in the heart they missed, autopsy indicates. All right. And so now they are in position of getting this, the people that carried out the execution, they're saying how they're running the risk of being charged with cruel and unusual punishment because he didn't die right away. It's a certain amount of time that where they're supposed to die. And if it lingers on beyond that, I want to say a minute or so, then it falls under cruel and unusual punishment. Now, this is not the article that I read yesterday that was going into that. But I think they're mentioning it. Let's read a little bit into this. All right, because he appears, I don't know, he may be East Indian. But it says, a South Carolina man executed last month by firing squad may have suffered for an extended period of time before dying because shooters largely missed his heart. An autopsy commissioned by the state shows. Now the question is, he died last month. Why is this coming up at the same time with Rodney Hinton Jr.? And knowing Esau, he does nothing, all right, by happenstance, and nothing happens in the world by coincidence, all right? So the timing that they put this up, and the guy was executed, it says last month, why is this recirculating today, with the Rodney Hinton shit going on? But anyway, it says Mahdi died on April 11th after being shot by a three-person firing squad, but an autopsy revealed 2 wounds on his chest, not 3. None of the bullets hit his heart directly, as is supposed to happen during the execution. Instead, the wounds caused damage to his liver and other internal organs and allowed his heart to keep beating. Pathologists say the injuries likely caused the prisoner pain and suffering while he was still conscious. Of course it did. It says, oh, he's not going to die instantaneously from this, said Dr. Carl Wygren, a forensic pathologist who reviewed the autopsy documents for NPR. I think that it took him some time to bleed out. On May 8th, lawyers for Mahdi notified the South Carolina Supreme Court that the execution was botched. They cited the state's autopsy and a forensic report that Mahdi's lawyers commissioned from another pathologist, Dr. Jonathan Arden. Mr. Mahdi did experience excruciating conscious pain and suffered for about 30 to 60 seconds after he was shot, Arden wrote in his analysis of the state autopsy. The Constitution in South Carolina, like the U.S. Constitution, bans cruel or unusual punishment. In 2021, the state passed a law allowing prisoners to choose the firing squad as a method of execution in addition to the electric chair and lethal injection. Prisoners challenged the law in court. In 2024, the South Carolina Supreme Court ruled that all 3 methods were legal, writing that the firing squad was not cruel because a prisoner would not suffer longer than 15 seconds. The evidence before us convinces us through an inmate executed via the firing squad is likely to feel pain, perhaps excruciating pain. The pain will last only 10 to 15 seconds, the justices wrote, adding that it would be true unless there is a massive botch of the execution in which each member of the firing squad simply misses the inmate's heart. All right. So in the days of old, what they would do, they would have a line of men, but would only one rifle be loaded with live ammunition, and the rest would have blanks, and that way they would save the executioner's conscience because no one know who had the actual murder weapon. So that would help them sleep at night. But yeah, they saying that looking like all 3 executioners, here had live ammunition. But yeah, this is the guy here. So when I saw the headline read, cops executed cop killer. So I'm automatically thinking Jake. And they did put the guy's name, Mahdi, and it went over my head. And then me getting in my emotions, because I was hot. You can see in the video, and you go watch the video, I was livid, and not because, I know the dude or nothing like that, but I mean, you got to give some leeway. That's a cruel, if that would have been the truth, if they had executed Rodney Hinton Jr., I think that would have been kind of cruel, Yeah, give him some time or whatever, but he shouldn't be put to death for that, for killing the man that killed his son. and his son was a grown-ass man. He was 18 years old. But again, they trying to paint him as best they can. I think his name was Ryan Hinton, who is Ryan Hinton is Rodney Hinton Jr.'s son. So they're trying to paint Ryan as some thug, and it's looking like they were asleep in the car. So they were trying to say the car was stolen. A nigga don't sleep in a stolen car, and there was 4 of them. I won't even in the world. I wouldn't travel 4 deep in my own car. Because the police, like I said in the other video, they don't like to see Jake congregated. They automatically go to think we conspiring, and they are the conspiracists. But the narrative is not adding up. So, yeah, I'm not going to get into that or further speculate and get myself in deeper water. But, yeah, that's the guy that they murdered. Well, executed. They'll say executed. So, Rodney Hinton Jr., he's awaiting his day in court. So, yeah, that's good that they didn't kill him. However, the death penalty, Esau, the death penalty is on the table for Rodney Hinton Jr., and I would hope, if he get a jury trial that nobody would, want to see him executed behind that, And again, I'm not speaking to his character. I don't know the man. I just know, I knew people that lost children at a young age. That's an anguish that I hope to never feel. I don't never want to feel that pain, of losing a child. At any age, at any age. But yeah, you just get tired of being mistreated, just treated inhumanely, with lack of human dignity and basic human respect, and this is how we get treated here in Babylon. So, but the Lord is getting ready to bring an end to all of this. And so, I'm going to go here, Psalm 43. No, well, before I go to this, let's finish Sirach. And go back to Sirach right quick, Lord will. Let's see, Sirach. All right, here we go. So, back to Sirach chapter 4. We're going to start at all right, verse 26. So this is Sirach chapter 4, verse 26. It says, "Be not ashamed to confess thy sins, and force not the course of the river." All right. So sins, faults, mistakes, we have to be men and own up to our shit. All right. Or else we end up with Babylon. Look at Esau. This is what we get when people don't take accountability. People don't own up to their mistakes. When oh, I'm above reproach. Oh, I'm too big to fail. All right. And then you get this, where no one's happy. Everyone's faking happiness. They're faking joy. And the joy that, that people do have is vain joy. You got joy in the world that's about to be destroyed. Joy in sweet Jesus that's about to get you killed. No, your joy coming from the Lord. You know, only he can, quote Esau, but it's true. Only he can reach those recesses of your heart, to fill it with light and love, to where you feel whole and complete. And see, this is what's wrong with the world. They're doing drugs, they're turning to sex and all of this because they know that they're incomplete. And they're trying to find completion in all of this external shit. No, you got to get your house shot. All right. And well, one, you got to be of Hebrew Israelite descent. All right. For right now, this is exclusive members only thing. And the members, if you're not of the 144,000 or of the elect, you're not a member to this. All right. Now, once the 144,000 and the elect get it popping, it's going to open up to the world. All right. And I'm talking about the goodness of the scriptures and the truth. All right. We're going to spread truth throughout the whole world. And then everybody will be able to delight in the wonderful abundance of the Lord's goodness. All right. But for now, it's members only. And I'm saying that so, brothers out there catching hell, whatever, man, you could take a sense of pride in this and what you're into, man. The Lord didn't give this to everybody. I'm thinking Bobby Blue Bland, he had one of his big hits. Is his members only tonight. Well, this is Esau Kingdom, it's the night, and it's members only tonight. And as the scriptures say, the night is far spent. So we ain't got too much longer to put up with Esau and his bullshit. But as the scriptures say, we should strive for the truth unto death. So I went back and did my due diligence. As the scriptures say, study to show thyself approved. All right. And I found out that it's because it's a undertone right now of this racial tension that's being pushed. It ain't overt, but it's kind of covert, with the chick that raised almost $1 million, all right, for saying she called a black child a nigger or a monkey or something to that effect. And these crackers are pouring in money. It might be one or two crackers that say, you know what, let me put 100,000 on, see what happens. Fuck them niggers. But she done raised upwards of 700,000, this chick. And it just goes to show that racism in Babylon is alive and well. All that shit, the marching, getting hosed down, being fed to dogs, They did a noble thing, those that came before us, the civil rights movement. They did a noble thing, but again, for a vain cause. If you ain't building your shit, do not, why you gonna bleed to be a part of somebody else's shit? It makes no sense. Nobody does that. You gonna shed your blood to be an underling. To be, man, ain't that in here? I think that's in here. It may be in the Psalms. Let me see. Yep, 27. So I just had to keep reading. So that's how the scriptures work. Now get this. I'm going to go back to 26. And we're going to look at 27. So Sirach chapter 4, verse 26. Be not ashamed to confess thy sins, and force not the course of the river. Right. Quit trying to put make shit, it have to be your way. And if it ain't, we got to make it we got to learn to flow with the spirit. You got to learn to get in the spiritual flow of things, the spiritual flow of the body. The body has an overall spiritual flow, the church. Then with each individual camp, there's a flow, all right? Which, of course, should be incongruent or in tandem with the flow of the overall church, all right? And so we have to learn to get into the flow of the spirit, all right? That's where there is no confoundation. That's where you will be justified in thy sayings, when you're in the flow of the Holy Spirit. All right? That's when you cut a nigga head off and not even trying to cut a nigga head off, with the doctrine. Because it's the spirit that's doing it. So force not the course of the river. It says, make not thyself an underling to a foolish man. So when they was doing that marching, the civil rights and all of that, they was actually fighting for an underling spot to a foolish man. Esau wasn't going to give us equal footing. We would always be, we would basically always be a permanent underclass. So yeah, they did a noble thing, but for a vain cause. If you'd been doing that for this truth, then we could lift your names up. But, you would get honorable mentions like Abba Bivens. Well, shit, get double honors like Abba Bivens, like Elder Yaquab and the rest of them, the whole, the elders of our elders. High Priest Ariah, King Masha, the whole nine. See, that's what they should have been giving their life to. All right. But as we said yesterday in the actual live stream, our parents, they just didn't know. It's for us because the Lord, he opened our eyes. So it's up to us to make our bodies a living sacrifice for us to have something. So we don't have to run from people in the street. And we don't have to goddamn be thugs and criminals just to make it and get by. You don't have to run no goddamn ball or be a boy for some racist ass cracker. But anyway, reading on. It says here, verse 28. Well, let's go back to 27. Make not thyself an underling to a foolish man, neither accept the person of the mighty. Strive for the truth unto death, and the Lord shall fight for thee. It says, be not hasty in thy tongue, and in thy deeds slack and remiss. Right? So don't be quick to say something and you know you're not going to do it. Or you pledge yourself to something and it may be a chance that you ain't going to be able to fulfill that obligation. Then just don't make the obligation. Don't be hasty with that tongue. And even especially in teaching this truth and bringing out information, we have to vet our information, and it's starting with me. But yeah, brothers get overzealous in the camp. Yeah, I do this, I do that. Oh, I got it, I got that. And then don't come through. Well, that's what the scriptures say. Be not hasty in thy tongue, and in thy deeds slack and remiss. And then it goes on into some other stuff. But, right, let's look at Psalm 43, verse 3. It says, "Oh, send out thy light and thy truth. Let them lead me." All right. So this is the thing, we're to be led by this truth. And it says, "Send out thy light." And it's something we spoke on in camp, is that light, how valuable this light is, man. When you getting ready, and we getting ready for that, as the church say, that great day. Jesus getting us ready for that great day. All that old shit. They don't even know the great day. That's why the scriptures say, "Woe to you that desire the day of the Lord. To what end is it for you?" But no, we getting ready for that wedding feast, man. You got to have light to get ready. You can't get ready in the dark and then Yahweh Shai come and you looking a hot mess. He gonna leave you here. He gonna tell you, like with that song, Matthew 22, "How comest thou here with no wedding garment?" But anyway, right. We need this light so we can get ready, man. Now, you think these people in the church, the Lord is coming back checking for them? They're not preparing themselves. They're not getting ready. Let me go to Matthew right quick. All right. We'll start right here. This is Matthew chapter 22, verse 9. "Go ye therefore into the highways, and as many as ye shall find, bid to the marriage." All right. So the highways is talking about go out into the streets, the highways and hedges, the chief marketplace, or the chief place of concourse. All right. And bid to the marriage, which is the union between Yahweh Shai as head with his church as the body. All right, so verse 10 says, "So those servants went out into the highways and gathered together all, as many as they found, both bad and good, and the wedding was furnished with guests." Right, because what this is symbolizing is us out on the highways and byways prophesying, calling out unto the elect, not everybody, but unto the elect we call. We got a message for everybody, but we're only calling the elect. We got a message for everybody. We got a message for Ham. We got a message for Moab. We got a message for Ammon. We got a message for Esau. We got a message for Elam and Ishmael. So we got a message for Japheth and all of his tribes. So this Bible got a message for everybody, but it's only calling to the elect. Okay, so it says, verse 11, "And when the king came in to see the guest, he saw there a man which had not on a wedding garment." He didn't prepare. He did not prepare himself or take the time out to get ready, do the work necessary to get himself ready. All right, verse 12, "And he said unto him, Friend, how camest thou in hither not having a wedding garment?" And he was speechless. He didn't have nothing to say. It was nothing he could have possibly said. Because he knew he was speechless, because he knew he dropped the ball. He knew he was lollygagging. Bullshitting, as we say. He knew it. And so he had no reply. Verse 13, "Then said the king to the servants, Bind him hand and foot, and take him away, and cast him into outer darkness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. For many are called, but few are chosen." Okay? Yeah, see, so there'll be many called, and this is, as many as are called, Most High, he constantly trims the fat. All right. He constantly trims the fat, and he uses his only begotten Yahweh Shai to do it. That's why the scriptures say, well, the Most High said he was going to set stumbling blocks before this people. Well, that's Yahweh Shai. And then when Yahweh Shai said, blessed is he who is not offended in me, because Yahweh Shai is that stone of offense and that rock of stumbling unto the wicked. But for us, he's our rock of strength, the chief cornerstone for us who believe, who have their faith in him. So yeah, Matthew 22, verse 14, many are called, for many are called, but few are chosen. So Psalm 43 and 3, O send out thy light and thy truth. Let them lead me. All right. Let them bring me unto thy holy hill and to thy tabernacles. And that's really the point of it. We got to strive for this truth, because this whole world is saturated with lies, deception, trickery, deceits. So we have a great responsibility as men of the Lord, to get the information correct and to push out the truth, because we don't want to be a part of this lying narrative. We're obligated to give you the light of truth. Obligated, and it's no two ways about it. We got to give you this truth. We got to be the lights that you all need for you to get prepared. All right. And if my light is dim, or as the Most High say, he removed my candlestick, then I become vain, useless, null and void. And to keep that from happening, I got to strive for the truth unto death. I'm going to probably close out here. So at Matthew chapter 5 and 14, it says, ye are the light of the world. A city that is set on an hill cannot be hid. So, right, we are the light of the world of Israel. And when you go to this word world, you'll see cosmos, meaning it's not talking about the entire populace of the earth. All right, and there you see it.
Strong's G 2889. Cosmos. Cosmos.
Strong G 2890. No, 89, sorry. Strong 2889. And it says, outline of biblical usage, an apt and harmonious arrangement or constitution, order, government. All right, and that's what the Lord is dealing with. He's setting up government for his kingdom. All right. We're all the marchers for Yahweh Shai. We're all, y'all get behind these worldly causes. But then again, our people are some of the least spiritual. We all believe in God, but the spirituality is not there. And that's what the church is designed to do. As you look at Esau's institutions, the banks are designed to break you, keep you broke. The churches are designed to keep you ignorant of God, meaning void you of spirituality. The schools are designed to keep you dumbed down. They're there to indoctrinate you, not educate you. So therefore, it takes away your ability of logic, reasoning, and creativeness. So, yeah, and you look at Esau's institutions, they're set up to do exactly the opposite of what they're supposed to do. So, yeah, majority of our people have no spirituality. Got a whole lot of religion, but little to no spirituality. So, right, the Lord is setting up government. This is to the Lord's government. All right, so we call out to the elect. The elect are the government that's being raised up and set up. Now, the second definition, or, in the outline of biblical usage, it says ornament, decoration, adornment, i.e., the arrangement of the stars, the heavenly host, as the ornament of the heavens. But that's it. I'm not going through all that. And say down verse 6 or definition 6, the ungodly multitude. And it could go into that, but that's not what they're saying. So when we read the scripture again, it's obviously not talking about an ungodly multitude, because it's talking about those receiving the light. All right, so it says, ye are the light of the world. This is Matthew 5:14. Ye are the light of the world. Right, the world of Israel, not a light to the ungodly multitude, but a light to the apt, harmonious constitution, the orderly arrangement, all right, the government. We are a light to them, the elect. That world. A city that is set on an hill cannot be hid. All right. And it said, verse 15, neither do men light a candlestick and put it under a bushel, but on a candlestick, and it giveth light unto all that are in the house. Exactly. Exactly. The light is for those that are in the house. All right. So, right, we got to shine our light, and the lens got to be clear. The lens have to be clean, and the light need to be shining bright so that y'all can have that light for your preparation, for your walk. Okay, yeah. Verse 16, let your light so shine before men. Showing you right. We bear the light of Yahushua. We bear his light. Yahushua is not coming down here to get you ready. He got his servants. He set his servants up to get you ready. So let your light so shine before men, that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. That's how it works. All right, the chain reaction, if you will. So, that was it. I just wanted to make that correction. I thought about taking the video down, but the scriptures are on point, And after that, we're going into the black woman, but we basically speaking on the wickedness and the evil of Esau. So it still fit, long as I put the correction out there, So I hope this was edifying to those who saw it. And again, my apologies, because we do strive for truth here at Great Millstone, and it's never my intention to mislead anybody or to put any false information out. All right, I always want to be right and exact. All right, but we're in the flesh. We're gonna have error, but correct it. You find your fault, your flaw, your error, fix it. And so I hope I fixed it today with this lesson, and to the next one, y'all stay up. Shalom.